centroid formula, C is equal to sigma poles minus sigma zeros divided by P minus Z. Now I have poles 0 plus 1 and minus of minus 1. So that will be 0 plus 1 and plus 1 divided by 1, that is plus 2. So your centroid C is equal to plus 2, then I can locate in explain where C is equal to plus 2. So that is a centroid. So from the centroid there is only one asymptote which is going along the negative real axis. So from that point you can draw here, and this is nothing but A1 and corresponding angle is minus 180 degrees. This is the centroid. Now the fourth step is we need to calculate the breakpoints. So we need to check whether the possible breakpoints are not. So it is very clear now. There are two poles, pole is at 0 and pole is at plus 1. In between we have root locus area. So whenever you have root locus area, obviously there will be one breakpoint. And also we have 0 in the leftmost side, and left to that also we have root locus area, and there exists one break in point. Let us see how to calculate. We know the procedure to calculate the breakpoints. So let us take the characteristic equation 1 plus gh is equal to 0, that is 1 plus k into s plus 1 over s into s minus 1 is equal to 0. We need to write this equation in the form of k is equal to f of s. Then find dk by ds is equal to 0, solve the equation, and the roots of dk by ds equal to 0 are valid or invalid breakpoints. So if you do that, your k is equal to minus s square minus 1 divided by s plus 1, and if you write again dk by ds is equal to 0, then you will get one equation which is s square plus 2s minus 1 is equal to 0. Then if you solve this equation, you will get two roots, one is plus 0.414 comma minus 2.414. Then you take these 2 points and locate in s plane. So we have plus 0.414, so that is in between 0 and plus 1. So that is a valid because it lies in the root locus area. Minus 2.414. So from minus 1 to minus infinity we have root locus. Therefore minus 2.414 lies in the root locus. Therefore both are the valid breakpoints. So one is going to be in this particular problem, one is going to be break away point, other one is break in point. Then we can locate breakpoints in the S plane. So next step is to calculate imaginary crossover point. Let us see whether imaginary crossover point is possible or not. So if you look at S plane, there is a one pole in the right of the S plane, 1 0 in the left of the S plane. So there is a need to cross the root locus branch from right of the S plane to left of the S plane. Starting point is at the right of the S plane open loop pole, and ending point is at left of the S plane, which is open loop 0. So we need to calculate. So let us see how to calculate. Take the characteristic equation 1 plus gh is equal to 0. So 1 plus k into s plus 1 divided by s into s minus 1. This will be ks plus k, denominator is s square minus s. Then if you simplify this, then you will get it as s square plus s into 1 minus k plus k is equal to 0. So the highest degree is 2. So we can easily write your root array s square, s power 1, s power 0, and this is going to be first element 1, and this element is 1 minus k, this is k, and this is 0, and the last element the k is carry forward to here. And look at the first column elements. I have 1, 1 minus k, k. We know that imaginary crossover point can be obtained by forming the auxiliary equation. Then what is auxiliary equation? It is the equation of the coefficients of the row which has one row with all 0 elements. So how to make one row with all 0 elements? We know that in row array it is always take s power 1, s power that means odd powers of s, or generally we take one row with all 0 elements. So I will take s power 1 row, it is 1 minus k and 0. So if you substitute this, this we take this and equate it to 0, so you will be getting k is equal to 1. So at k is 1, there is a possibility of imaginary crossover points or the roots which may lie on the imaginary axis. Substitute k in that equation. So what is auxiliary equation? S square plus k equal to 0, s square plus 1 is equal to 0, s is going to be plus or minus j1. So plus or minus j1 are imaginary crossover points at value of k is equal to 1. So next step is angle of arrival, angle of departure. So if you look at the open loop transfer function, we don't have any complex zeros, and also we don't have any complex poles. Therefore, there is no need of calculating angle of departure and angle of arrival. So, we can write down the step. So, no need of angle of departure, no need of angle of arrival, since there are no complex terms either the numerator and the denominator. Now, so with this complete information, then we can draw the root locus diagram. Look at the complete S-plane. What are the things that are noted here? Poles and zeros available. S is equal 0, S is equal plus 1, and 0, S is equal to minus 1. We have root locus area, and there is a one centroid at S is equal to plus 2. And from there we already have one asymptote towards the negative real axis, that is A1 with minus 180 degrees. And of course we have two breakpoints. So one is at plus 0.414 and minus 2.414, and imaginary crossover point plus J1 and minus J1. Now, since there are two open loop poles, there are two root locus branches possible, and one root locus branch will start S is equal to 0, other one is S is equal to plus 1. So when those two are, when you increase the k value, then those two poles start moving. One will move towards the breakpoint, other one will come towards the breakpoint. They meet at the breakpoint, and you know that at the breakpoint the root locus branches can enter into the complex plane. Once they enter into the complex plane, I have one asymptote in the left of the S plane and also 1 0 in the left of the S plane. Therefore, they cross through this ICP, that is imaginary crossover point, and they will come back and they enter here through the breakpoint at minus 2.414. One will go towards 0, other will go towards infinity. So this is a complete sketch of root locus. Now, so once the sketch is available, then we can look at this. So when I take the center minus 1 plus A0, where is a minus 1? I have 1 0 here, minus 1. So from here, if we measure the right side, then this is a 1 and that is 0.414, that is going to be root 2. And the left side also, if you look at, so it is going to be 2.414, and also this distance is 1, so this remaining distance is again 1.414, which is root 2. So this is a centroid. We have the one distance root 2, other distance is also root 2. So it takes almost, it is exactly circle, because when it is crossing the imaginary, it is at plus J1 minus J1. And from here, if you take the if you measure the distance from minus 1 to the point where it is crossing, that is obviously root 2, because 1 square plus 1 square is going to be root 2. So this radius is also, so radius everywhere will be root 2 only. If you graph it, you will get exactly circle. So this way we can show that the root locus which is formed with these two root locus branches will be a circle. And what is the analysis from this root locus diagram? So from this root locus diagram, we can say that even if the open loop transfer function is unstable, because we have one pole in the right of the S plane which will cause oscillations in the system, or the system response completely increasing towards infinity when time tends to infinity. So it is purely unstable open loop system. So the unstable open loop system we can make stable by changing the k value. We know that the k value is 0, system is unstable. When k value is 0 to 1, still it is unstable only, but exactly k is 1, system is marginally stable. If you increase the k value from 1 to any other value to the infinity, all my two poles will be in the left of the S plane, which means my system is stable. It is a typical system, because in general any real-time systems, k is a one parameter which always causes to the instability nature. As you increase the k value, generally root locus will go towards the right direction. So the k value will be stable from 0 to certain value, and from that value to infinity, system will be unstable. But in this case it is the reverse. When k is from 0 to 1, it is unstable only, but k is increasing from 1 to infinity, system has become stable, because there is a one pole of open loop transfer function is lying in the right of the S plane. Whenever you have such systems which are called non-minimal phase system, when you have non-minimal phase transfer function, open loop transfer function, then system behaves differently. So this is a one such example.